Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mental Health Moments. The subject that we're going to be dealing with today is one of my own personal favorites. However, it's something that many in our culture and society struggle with. We're going to be talking about boundaries, but more specifically, we're going to talk about healthy boundaries. It's one of those things that we don't seem to have a problem realizing that we need them, but we have a problem with implementing them. And then once we have implemented them, standing by them to make sure that we follow through. So stay with us. I think it's going to be helpful. We'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome once again to Mental Health Moments. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make some bold predictions right at the very beginning that at a few times during this video you're going to huff and puff a few times. You're going to reach for the off button. You're going to say but a few more times, but at the end of it you're going to realize that maybe it's true, and maybe you'll rewind it and watch it once or twice again to make sure that you got the message from it all. This is a great discussion starter. What are boundaries? What is a boundary? In general, what we are most familiar with is physical boundaries. Those are the boundaries that we can see each day. They are tangible and visible. We see them all the time. Property lines is a good example. A fence. When some neighbor has put in a fence around their yard, that is a boundary. We know that we're not supposed to cross those. Passwords on all of our computers and information, the block feature on social media, that communicates a very strong boundary. No trespassing signs. When we communicate to someone in the physical realm, don't touch me. What that is saying to them is that I want you to respect that this is a boundary that I don't want you to cross, and I don't feel comfortable with you crossing that. There are emotional and mental boundaries as well. That they have at least a twofold purpose, emotional and mental boundaries. Number one, they help me hold my emotions in check. I have a personal conversation with myself so that before I get into a situation where I might be tempted to lose myself or lose control, I've already had a conversation with myself that this is the boundary that I will not cross. I will not become irritated or angry or ugly to someone. And number two, an emotional boundary is something that I establish so that I don't allow someone else's emotions to affect me, and that is so very important. I don't think that you need anyone to help you understand that. In every case, whether they are physical or they are emotional, the purpose of those boundaries is pretty much the same: to show us where one thing ends and another begins. The physical boundary, it shows us where this begins and where this ends, and in an emotional boundary it stops this behavior from becoming unacceptable. I think another word for boundary is the word respect. You create a boundary of respect and ask people not to cross that in our relationships. Boundaries are the limits and rules that we set for ourselves and for others who want to be in relationship with us. A person with healthy boundaries can say no to someone without offending them or hurting their feelings, but they're also comfortable with opening up themselves to closer, more intimate relationships. A person who always keeps others at a distance, whether it's emotional or physical or otherwise, is said to have rigid boundaries, and most often those boundaries are established most commonly because someone in that relationship has been hurt and they see it as a precautionary measure to keep somebody else at distance. On the other hand, there are others who tend to get too involved with everyone. Anybody out there? Tend to get too involved with everyone. They have no boundaries for themselves. They have no boundaries for others. And so we all know people like that who have no boundaries at all. One of the most important aspects of boundaries is effectively and clearly establishing them within yourself. At any moment or any time during this conversation, you can write down in the comments about your own boundaries. But then it's important for you to communicate those boundaries very clearly to other people who need to know them. I think we all know what it feels like when someone starts crossing the boundaries of our lives. When someone is continuously crossing those boundaries, that you can't automatically assume that they know that you're uncomfortable with that unless you have communicated that to them. And then if they are continuously crossing the boundaries of your life, then that may say to you that they don't understand, they need more communication, or they don't respect what it is that you've been trying to tell them. So communication is absolutely critical. Hey, you can say, I enjoy your company, but not 6 hours a day. I enjoy our conversations, but not when you push everyone else out of the way so that you can have a conversation with me. Another side of healthy boundaries and establishing them means that you are intentionally marking out time for yourself. Knowing some of you as I do, not knowing all of you as I should, that's an important point to reiterate about boundaries and healthy boundaries. It is intentionally marking out time for yourself, which to a lot of people is like a completely foreign topic. You don't know how to. You don't realize how important it is. Establishing healthy boundaries means making room for yourself. It is one of the highest forms of self-care, and I am a big fan, a big proponent of self-help and self-care, especially in our culture. You need to establish time for yourself, and you need to be very clear about that. I need to establish time for me. This is meant to be a discussion starter, so how about you? What are your thoughts? Do you understand the importance of boundaries? How have they helped you in your life? Is there something that you have, that a secret that you have that maybe you could share with people? If you would, put that in the comments. People would, I'm sure, love to hear that. What do you do when people cross your boundaries? When you have boundaries that are established and people continuously cross over them, how do you handle that? I'd love to know. We would love to know. Somebody might need to do that. So we hope that tonight this has been a great discussion starter for you. And if you would, leave your comments there in the comment section. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you feel like this is important for someone, share. This week we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm excited about it. Not only are we going to provide, as we always do, resources and information for you to use throughout the week, but on some day this week, my wife Kathy and she has agreed to sit together with me to discuss on tape some thoughts of her thoughts on healthy boundaries. So that will be something to look forward to. We hope together our time has been helpful. We hope that the information that we've shared has been helpful to you. We appreciate you being here, and we look forward to seeing you next time right here on Mental Health Moments. Good night.